Hi everyone. So a few days ago there was a tornado that tore through 6 states in the United States, right through the heartland of America, and heart is representative of Venus. Now, the main story that the news has been focusing on is the candle factory that was totaled in the tornado. And while the tornado did happen, this candle factory story is quite a tragedy. Please look up the definition of tragedy in the etymology. For those of you who are new to this and new to my channel, if you're new to my channel and you don't quite understand what this is all about, I suggest you go back and watch my other Decode videos and perhaps some other Decode channels to understand what this is all about, because it is not something that is going to be easy to digest if you are new to this. Now, some of these news stories, most of these news stories that are sensationalized, such as this, are embedded with codes. And if you look into the etymology or the definition of certain words that stand out to you, you will find the hidden message within the story. So that's what I do here. Some of the numbers as well are coded, and I'm not one for gematria. I look at the numerology behind the meaning behind the numbers. So this is all connected to Kabbalah, to tarot, to astrology, and we are in a tarot play. And this is helping to tell you the story of what is going on here. And these stories will give you hidden messages about what is going on and what is to come. Okay, so this story took place in Kentucky, Mayfield, Kentucky.
This morning, search and rescue efforts continue after the deadly tornadoes in the South and Midwest. The hardest hit state, Kentucky, where at least 74 people are confirmed dead and many more missing. One family there revealed their 2-month-old daughter died from injuries sustained in the storm. President Biden set to travel to Kentucky tomorrow. Our Caitlin Collins will be there with him and visit the town of Mayfield. That's where a candle factory with more than 100 people inside collapsed into a pile of rubble. We now know that 8 people confirmed dead in that factory. Joining me now is one of the first rescuers to arrive on scene at that factory that night, Adam Slack. Adam, listen, thank you so much for being with us.
So the first thing I notice is this gentleman here is standing in front of a green screen, and this image behind him has been reused in another story I will show you in a minute. Adam is the first man, obviously, and he's in Kentucky. I'll get to that in a second. This happened in Mayfield, May being the 5th month, and May also being connected to Venus. The 5th 5 is also connected to Venus. I've done a story on my main channel about how a lot of these events and rituals are connected to Venus worship. So I suggest you go and look at that for more information on my main channel. The link is in the description box. This news story, they say that there may be 80 plus people dead, and they know of 8. So that's 88. For your 88 loop, your infinity loop. And Twister is also twist, wear, ver, ergon, work, to do. This has been a recurring code in many videos I have done in the past year and a half. So this twister it has to do with a reference to the nature of this place, but also the core, the center of the vortex. The where and ver and work is vortex, and this is also a reference to God, the creator. Okay, so if you look up the etymology of the word may, am able, and have power, may, magnetism, those are connected words. Mega, mat, mot, to be able, have power, 5th month of the modern calendar. Magus, or magic would be connected as well. Maya, illusion. Maya is illusion. The Roman earth goddess, wife of Vulcan, whose name is of unknown origin. Mag-ya, she who is great. And MAGA was the slogan for Make America Great Again. MAGA is May, is Venus. So again, this is all connected to Venus. It's Venus worship. Candle. So this happened, it destroyed a candle factory. This whole story is centered around this candle factory. It's a cylindrical body of tallow wax formed on a wick used as a source of artificial light. Okay, last summer I did a story about this guy who, if I can remember his name, he was an actor who was in Black Panther, and his name was Chadwick Boseman. There it is. Chadwick Boseman. So there's another reference to wick. Lamp, lantern, candle, candela, a light, torch, candle made from tallow or wax, to shine. So we are the shining ones. This whole situation that we are in is about raising your Kundalini energy or your Christos oil so that you shine, so that you become a shining one, so that you remember who you really are. Candles were unknown in ancient Greece, where oil lamps sufficed. See, there's oil, Christos oil, lamp. Your chakras are referred to as lamps. So when you light the lamps, you become illuminated. You are a shining one. You have to heal your chakras in order for your Christos oil to rise, in order for you to collapse the rainbow bridge and return home. Or when you put candles on your birthday cake. Birthday is another recurring theme since the beginning of COVID, and because we are being born, we're being reborn. We are going through the birthing process. And I did a video some time ago about a birthing ritual that was at the Travis Scott concert. So if you're not familiar with that, I suggest you go watch that video. So name meaning Kentucky is land of tomorrow. Now, again, this is like a reference to the Wizard of Oz. In the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy was in Kansas, candle, Kansas, and there was a tornado, and she would sing the song Tomorrow Never Comes. And if you remember my breakdown of the movie Free Guy, there were several references to tomorrow. Their sale starts tomorrow because tomorrow never comes. It's a reference to the Wizard of Oz about tomorrow being home, being out of this loop that we are in. Okay, factory. This is a candle factory. So factory, estate manager's office, office for agents, also oil press or mill. So to press the oil. We are in a situation right now that is the leavening. So we are being pressed to raise the oil. This is another form of the leavening, oil press. Doer, maker, faire, to do, to set, put. Establishment of merchants and factors in a foreign place, building for making goods. Tornado. Again, tornado is ergon, work to do. Where, way. Thunderstorm, thunder. To twist, turn, twist. A funnel cloud. Thunderclap, god Thor. Thor is Jupiter. Okay, now this guy's name was Adam Slack. So there's not much here for Slack, but I thought I would cover it anyway. Remiss, lax, characterized by lack of energy, sluggish, indolent, languid, slow, gentle, easy. Slag, small pieces left after coal is screened. splinter flying off metal when it is struck, cessation of flow in a current or tide, still stretch of a river, loose part or end. What I get from this, and this is my interpretation, you might see something else, which is great. What I would get from this is this current situation that we're in. A lot of things are being put on us, this pressure that's being put on us, and there's hardly any pushback. There's some people who are out there protesting, but it's a little slack. Maybe that's what they're referring to. Adam being the man is slack. You're slack in moving things forward, in reacting to what is happening, and failing to exert oneself in this leavening process. Okay, let's go back.
Appreciate what you've done. I appreciate you waking up for us this morning. You were at home when the tornado hit with your wife and kids. Everyone was fine. You get a text message from a buddy that says, hey, the candle factory was hit hard. Then what happened?
It's highly unfortunate. I got a buddy of mine text me a little bit after 10 o'clock saying...
Okay, he is a Navy veteran. Now, at first I was not really thinking too much about this, but it actually turned out to be important and relevant. So Navy is a fleet of ships, especially for the purposes of war. Fleet, ship, vessel, boat, ship. A nation's collective organized sea power. Now, sea power is also money. Water is money, and we're operating on admiralty law, but also money is currency, which is water. Ship, boat, ship. Now, in the beginning of all of this, there were references to the Titanic. You can also go to my main channel and you can see that I did a breakdown of the references to Titanic. And Titanic was connected to the financial system. When they were rebooting the financial system, they had people on board of the Titanic who were opposed to the financial system, and they went down with the ship. Vet. Obviously, vet is short for veteran. Veteran is an old, experienced soldier. We have another reference to soldier coming up. Old aged, that has been in use for a long time, especially of soldiers as plural noun, old soldiers. Old aged, advanced in years, of former time, men of old, forefathers. Forefathers could be a reference as well to founding fathers, forefathers, the people who came before us, the people who established America. So here it is from the root of wet, which means year, in Sanskrit and Greek. And compare to weather. If you compare to weather, tornado is weather. General sense of one who has seen long service in any office or position. Weather, male sheep, especially a castrated one. Weder is a ram, and a lamb is literally yearling or year. So it's all connected. Weather, sheep, ram, yearling, year. Yearling is an animal a year old or in its second year. So we're in our second year of this coronavirus situation. Greek, hora, horus, hour, year, season, any part of a year, also any part of a day or hour. So it's referring to time, basically. Spring is hornus of this year. Famine, literally bad year. Complete cycle, meaning to do, make. Ergon, birth, giving birth. Spring has to do with birth. It has to do with starting anew. Let's go back.
And that it had collapsed, and Another buddy of mine said that there were people stuck in it, and I immediately changed my clothes, locked up my dogs, and headed about 1.5 miles west of the house, and arrived and started helping people. We started clearing debris from the road. The access point was 500 yards from where the rescue vehicles were, and there was a lot of people that showed up.
He mentioned 500 yards, so there's another reference to the number 5.
Say that I was one of the first on the scene of hundreds, if not thousands. But as a community, we all came together and started clearing the roads and getting the debris off the road so that
Again, debris. There's been multiple mentions of the word debris. I've covered this before in other codes. So debris, an accumulation of loose matter or rubbish from some destructive operation or process. Waste, rubbish, break down, crush, brise, to break, brisare, I break. So this is a breakdown. Debris is a breakdown of the existing system, is what I see in this.
Paramedics and fire could get in there to the John Deere and candle factory.
So adjacent to it is the John Deere factory, and some time ago there was a lot of hype around deer in reference to Fear the Deer, the basketball championship. The deer won, deer being money or buck. Owner of factory destroyed by tornado while workers inside speaks out. Now, there's been a lot of personal accounts of people inside the factory, which is what drew me to this in the first place. But when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Tonight with a Fox weather. We begin tonight with a Fox weather alert. The death toll continues to climb after more than 30 tornadoes hit 6 states Friday night.
30 tornadoes, 6 states, 3 6s.
Towns were leveled from Mississippi to Illinois. There is heartbreak in Kentucky, where at least 100 people are feared dead after what the governor says was the deadliest storm in his state's history.
See, it says America's Heartland. Heart is Venus.
The track of this lethal tornado is believed to be the longest track of any tornado to ever hit the United States. The community of Mayfield in western Kentucky is the epicenter of the destruction. More than 100 people were working at a candle factory there when their workplace was devastated Friday night.
Yeah, so when I was looking at it, I noticed Kentucky is KY and candle is C, and KYC is know your client. KC is Mars on the gematria or in numerology. When you break down the alphabet, K and C are on the same number spectrum. They're parallel to each other, so they're both solar plexus, yellow, Mars. Also, CMYK is, those are the colors that are used in printing. And in Hebrew, the letter K is Kaf or Kaf, which is also Q. It also means crown or palm. Right now there's a volcano going off in the Canary Islands. La Palma, I think, is the name of the volcano or the area. It's La Palma. Y is Yod, which is hand. C and G are the same letter in Hebrew, which is Gimel, and it means like reward or punishment. So again, a reference to scales or justice or balance. So there were at least 3 references to justice in this story, and justice is scales, is Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So I just wanted to point these out because they stood out to me very strange. I think there's something else in this KYC simply because they're throwing out the Know Your Client acronym quite a lot right now, and the crown, hand, reward, like balance, it's to do with Venus.
Y'all please send us some help. Somebody please send us some help. We are trapped. The wall is stuck on me. We were all in the safe shelter.
The owner of that candle factory, Mayfield Consumer Product.
So this is the CEO, the owner of the factory. Right away, I noticed his jacket is brand new. His clothes are brand new. He's wearing black and white. He's got a baseball cap, and it says, I think it says Charleston. Yeah, Charleston. So Charles is another code that has appeared in multiple events. And in Charles means husband, free man. And aspire is another code that has also appeared in other events. And it's got the A or the triangle here. And the triangle is the pyramid or the Eiffel Tower. So all of this is not by accident.
CEO Troy Probst joins us now. Troy, first we extend our condolences to everyone impacted by this storm, including those who worked at your plant. What's the latest? Is this still a search mission? Is there still hope of more survivors?
The way this is worded kind of stood out to me as odd. And then I thought, okay, well, what if you just look at this in terms of what it sounds like, or phonetics? Workers sounds like workers, war curse, to rapture, trapped after, to trapped after, KYC, and L, factory, collapse.
Yeah, thank you for the condolences and thank you for the prayers. I know that the entire Fox team has been great.
The next phrase was Mayfield consume cons you, me, or products CEO. Just a different way of looking at it, see what you can extrapolate from that. Okay, so the interviewer's name is Trey, and this guy's name is Troy. Vowels are interchangeable, so they basically have the same name. His last name is Probst. There is some controversy surrounding this guy, but also his factory and how he runs his business, which I will touch on later. But Troy, standard system of weights for gems and precious metals. Troy, see the Iliad, and it also refers to Trojan horse. So the Trojan horse is essentially the horse that was gifted and wheeled in to the city, and people thought it was a gift, a gesture of peace in the Trojan War, but inside were all these soldiers. From the Greek name for the city, said to be from Tros, name of a king of Phrygia, the mythical founder of Troy. Now, of ambush from within in Roman times, attested in English from 1570s. The computer virus sense is attested by 1982. Iliad, from Latin Ilias, city of Ilias. All right, so, or Ilion, Ilias. To me, the word sounds like illuminated. Why was Troy also called Ilium? Now, this isn't a reliable source, as it is contributed by random people off the internet, but this guy, he's got a bachelor's in sociology and history. He sounds knowledgeable, so take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, Ilium is the Latin form of the Greek Ilion or Ilios. The name comes from, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, Ios, which is the name of a few figures from mythology. The Ios who built the city of Ios, Ion, was the son of the king of the region Troy. Tros was the father of Ganymedes, the youth carried off by Zeus and placed in the sky as the water bearer Aquarius. Probst was his surname. Was derived from a rugged landscape of Wales. This old proud name is derived from personal name Robin. It's also connected to all these names: Probin, Propert, Propert, Robert, derived from the prefix ro, meaning fame, and Bert, meaning bright. So again, it connects to bright, shining one. So Robert again is connected to the shining one. So here's also Robin Redbreast, Rudy, red. Adam is also red. So this again, a couple of references to red. This was interesting as well. So round robin, petition or complaint signed in a circle to disguise the order in which the names were affixed and prevent ringleaders from being identified. Originally in reference to sailors and frequently identified as a nautical term. So there's another reference to Navy as a kind of tournament in which each player plays the others. Each player plays the others, which is the situation that we're in right now, where we're all playing each other and you can't tell who's in charge because everybody is giving you false information. So I found that really interesting.
Yes, fortunately FEMA has still declared this a rescue mission. You know, that they're the experts in this situation, and that gives us all hope because, you know, the people of this town and myself, and we're in uncharted waters, Trey, and so that is good news for us.
Troy, tell us a little something about the...
So he mentioned we're in uncharted waters. Again, another reference to water, currency, sea, navy, naval, nautical. Waters has to do with finance. So it could have a reference to what is coming for the financial situation we are in. Aspire is one word I wanted to touch on the meaning of, because that was another word that came up in other events. Strive for, seek eagerly to attain, long to reach, aspire to, inspire, breathe on. So in the situation that we are in, I can't breathe was something that was trending for some time, about a year and a half ago. Breathe on, blow upon, to breathe. And also, you know, we have to wear masks, so we can't breathe. Don't breathe on anybody. To be favorable to, assist, to climb up to, endeavor to, obtain, to reach to seek to, reach, infuse. What gives us life is breath. So this is the controversy surrounding the story of the factory workers. They're saying that they were threatened with being fired if they left before the tornado, and the owner is denying it.
That had more than 100 people in it. You heard from one of those survivors, one of those factory workers earlier in the show. Well, now NBC News is learning that employees, some of them, say supervisors threatened to fire them if they left their shifts early because of the tornado warnings. Now, the company, we should note, is totally denying those allegations. They say it is absolutely untrue that the employees would not be able to leave. Dion Hampton broke that story for NBCNews.com. Dion is joining us now. Dion, I understand you pop back to your hotel room. You're going to get back out in the field later on tonight. Tell me a little bit about how employees walked you through what happened on Friday as the storm was coming in. What did they tell you? How did they try to stay safe?
Sure. So I just broke a national exclusive less than an hour ago. This story stems out of me going up to one of the shelters that was housing a lot of the people who have lost all their worldly possessions, who didn't have any power and electricity. No, the city doesn't have any power and electricity. And I talked to a guy there while I was interviewing him. He told me that he was an employee of the candy factory, and that while he was there, you know, before the tornado came, a lot of people there had wished that they would have been able to leave and go home to take shelter there with their loved ones or somewhere else that was safe, but they weren't allowed to, because if they did, they risked losing their jobs. So I followed up, and I've spoken to 5 people who all give me the same story.
And the story is what? That when those sirens hit, they tried to leave and they were told you might be fired if you do? That's what they're sort of saying, these employees?
Correct. Initially, the company wanted, as the first sirens went off, I'm going to say around between 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they wanted everybody to maybe take shelter in the bathrooms and the hallways. But then there was a 3-hour window between then and when the second siren had came. And that's when a lot of the a lot of the employees there had asked to go home. So we're talking 15 employees. That's on the low end, possibly up to 40, but I'll just call it 15 for now. But who have asked, listen, it's getting dangerous outside. We're worried for our lives. Can we go home? And they said, well, yes, but if you do, don't bother coming back.
Wow. Now, I have to say, and we said it right at the top, Dion, companies saying, the company's saying this did not happen, right?
Correct. So I spoke to the company spokesman earlier today, and he said that ever since COVID started, that they have a policy where you actually are allowed to leave at any point during your work shift. You can leave and decide to come back the next day. So that means if you want to stay there for 45 minutes, okay. If you want to stay there for 2 hours, okay. If you want to stay there for the whole shift, okay. So they're denying the allegations, but the employees are sticking by their story.
And some of them I know are still in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, one of the women who I spoke to was literally 2 o'clock this morning, and she was talking to me from her hospital bed.
Wow.
She sustained a lot of burns. She was trapped under a concrete wall for 6 hours, and we started talking on the phone, and this is how much of an important issue this was to her, but she didn't even bother going to sleep because she was saying, listen, Dion, this is what the work conditions were like when we were...
Now, this sounds false. This does not sound like a true story. Anyway... the name meaning of Dion is God, and Hampton is home settlement. So God's home. Hampton, hamper. Hamper was another code in another story. Hamper, probably a contraction of hanaper from Old French hanapier, case for holding a large goblet or cup. Use skull. Golgotha. Helmet, armored leather cap, head. So this is to do with your skull, Golgotha. That's raising the Christos oil to your skull, lighting the lamps, and becoming illuminated, becoming whole, holy. Here are some victim stories.
I don't see how nobody can be okay after this.
On Friday night, he was working the forklift, one of 110 employees on the evening shift at the Mayfield Consumer Products Candle Factory, when, in a matter of seconds, a tornado brought the building to the ground. Chilling video, shot in darkness by another worker, shows a harrowing scene after it fell.
Somebody please send us some help. We are trapped.
Rescuers pulled Mark out of the rubble, but he lost family and friends inside.
People were screaming, Mark, help. I couldn't even get to him.
He doesn't really look like he lost family and friends inside, but,
Kirks and her boyfriend Joe Ward were working inside too.
Notice how fuzzy this picture is.
Ward were working inside too.
Is that flypaper?
She was able to escape.
I had a savior. I don't know who.
This is green screen, in case you didn't notice.
It was. But he lifted a concrete wall off me.
But Joe, tragically, didn't make it.
He lifted a concrete wall. That's pretty impressive.
We spoke to her when Joe was still among the missing.
He was within 10 feet of me in that hallway.
The couple started at the factory just a few weeks ago.
Notice a lot of these people who they interview just started a few weeks ago or a few days ago.
Working to save for a house to get...
All these pictures are really out of focus. There's nothing here. This actually looks more like a hotel, but... And this TV is an old TV, like really old. It's curved screen, one of those big box TVs. How old is this picture?
For a house. Together they have 8 kids.
I'm so
They have 8 kids. 8.
sorry.
Trying to be strong for them that's the only thing keeping me going right now is my kids.
Denise Cunningham's 21-year-old son Devin was also working that night. She called him immediately when the tornado hit. He was alive, but trapped.
I called him and a girl answered the phone and all you could hear screams for asking for help. And my son couldn't get on the phone because he's trapped between those 2 walls. And
he's 21, which is 3, trapped between 2 walls, or 21 is also 3 sevens. Trapped between 2 walls, the 2 pillars.
they're all screaming for help. All she could tell me was that my son told me that he loved me, that he didn't think he was going to make it.
That coworker stayed with Devin until rescuers appeared.
She was down there holding his hand and trying to keep him conscious, and they opened up the hole. They got everybody out, and she
Opened up the hole. That's a strange thing to say. Opened up the hole. Hole in the wall. It's trapped between two walls. Hole in the wall. Hole in the wall had been a recurring theme as well. The hole in the wall. Mind the gap. The gap. Meditation. The gap. No thought.
She thought they were going to grab him too, and then they just left him.
Late Sunday, Denise learned Devin was gone. Given the weather warnings, she thinks no one should have been inside the factory that night.
They knew it was coming. I am more than angry. I think that they should be held accountable for everything that has happened to these families, for my son.
The factory's owner telling me the historic storm was just too fast and too unpredictable.
If you knew the weather was coming, was there any thought to maybe suspending production?
If we believe that we could do anything differently, in hindsight, of course, I think all of us would do something differently. It's such a gamble to say leave, because the last thing you do, it says don't get in your car. That's what experts say. And
now he says they're focused on employees and supporting the loved ones of those lost.
Every ounce of me and my family and our executive team are thinking about the families that right now are not waking up as fortunate as you and I, and that's where all of our focus is.
The grief of those families is almost too much to bear.
Okay, so I hope you're paying close attention to these images and what you actually see, such as this one. Here's another story.
Get a better picture of the surrounding damage as well, and that includes this neighborhood that's across the street, which is actually where we have found Bertha Ray. And Bertha,
her name is Bertha. Bertha Ray. Birth a ray. A ray is like light. Birth a light. I mean, could you be more obvious? And she's wearing green heart chakra. The other lady was wearing a sweater. It looked brand new, sweatshirt with love on it. Love, zero, source, Venus, heart chakra.
have some family that lives here. You live within a mile of here, and you even had some family in that nursing home. So just kind of tell me about your night. Tell me about your family. What all are you going through?
Well, emotions, anxiety, you name it, it's there. But they're all well and they're healthy. That's all that matters. We have been really super blessed.
Super is a word that has been used a lot lately. Another word that's been used a lot lately is wild. Pay attention to that word. I don't yet know why this word is circulating, but it is being used a lot.
You mentioned to me that your uncle, who was in the nursing home last night, is in the hospital over in Jonesboro.
Yeah, just for observations. He had a couple of scratches on him, and they just wanted to check him out, and then they're going to put him in the nursing home in Manila until they get all the things situated. But we're just super blessed that none of the residents really got hurt, as far as I know. And so
this woman is in Monette, Arkansas. The other ones were in Kentucky. Texas. They're in Kentucky. So the name Monette is a derivative of the name Simone or Simon, gift from God, which is also Dorothy. Dorothy means gift from God. It is a derivative of the Hebrew word Shimon, Simon, meaning he, God, has heard. Shema. And here it says the name is derived from the Latin words istunus or aistus, which means just. Just has to do with like justice or balancing. Scales are Libra. Libra is an air sign. Libra is ruled by Venus.
We want to get you updated on this morning. We're hearing from survivors in that candle factory. They say all they heard were sirens and then what sounded like a train coming through. Laura Capps was on her 10th day in the factory Friday night. She says she didn't know what was going to happen, but she was prepared to never see her family again.
Funny how they get the testimony, eyewitness testimony of someone who's only been there for 10 days.
You could hear people through the walls and somebody asked me, did I want to give a message to anybody? And I said, yeah. I told them I wanted to give a message to my husband.
Notice the big X on the back of this wall here. If you want to know what X means, go watch my video on Planet X.
And I love him, and all my family that I love him, and I'll see him up in heaven, I guess.
After the storm, Caps ended up inside a ditch with one of her coworkers. She says that she made it out, but after doing everything she could to keep him alive, her coworker died.
How quickly they must have put this together in order to get this information out in time. That is quite shocking to me. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this event and any codes that you see that I missed, because I can't possibly catch them all. Looking forward to seeing it. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.